Chumripsur, Namaste, hello. It was here at Phnom Kulen in Cambodia that the mighty Khmer Empire was born when Jayavarman II anointed himself king, breaking away from the Hindu Java Empire. In this series, we will see how the Indic influence was absorbed and adopted into the local culture and is still a pivot point around which the Cambodian culture and life revolve.
Hello and welcome again to Forgotten Temples with myself, Mr. B. Now in this episode I've got something a little different for you because I have a tale to tell you. So far in this series you and I have visited quite a few ancient temples and we've been into the footprints of those Hindu gods who travelled all the way out here to Cambodia. But the question is, how did they get here? Well, where I am at the moment was once a capital city of that ancient kingdom. And this place will do an awful lot to telling that story. But where is it? I'm at Sambor, Prei. Now you may know its more famous cousin that you saw in that little clip there, and that is Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat is a few hours that way, but there's a few differences here. One is that Angkor Wat receives literally millions of visitors every year, and Sambor Prei gets almost none. It is a city in its own right. I mean, there are so many grand temples here, and the few that do come and visit look at it and they marvel. They say, oh my goodness, look at this engineering, look at this beauty, look at the incredible surroundings. And they've only been able to come here in recent times because the landmines have been cleared away. A path has been forged through the jungle so people like I can come here and show it to you. And when I do come here, I notice something else apart from the engineering and the beauty. I notice that this place gives testimony. It gives testimony to two great nations, that of Cambodia and that of India. And to tell this tale, I have to bring on that trader. And his story shows how these two great nations were pulled together. But it was no easy task, you see. I mean, let's have a look at what they had to get through. I mean, on one side we have the mighty Indian Ocean, and that tempestuous mistress will kill you in a matter of seconds. On the other side, we have the jungles. And I've been in the jungle numerous times myself. And I can tell you, it is quite simply hellish. I mean, in the jungle, everything is trying to bite you, stab you, slash you, or poison you. It's almost like it was designed to kill you. And these were the mighty ogres that those traders had to battle with. But why? Well, they're traders, and let me explain those basic elements to you. You see, let's say I'm sitting here and I have coconuts falling around me. I try and sell those coconuts, but nobody wants them. So, me being a savvy trader, I get myself a bag, I put in my coconuts, and off I go. It's after some distance I meet somebody who has pineapples. So, we agree. We do a trade, and then on returning, I sell my pineapples because people want this commodity. It's a rarer commodity. Now, what I've done there is quite simply a magic trick. I have taken a coconut and turned it into a pineapple. But the trick is, I've got to travel to do that. And through their traveling, these traders gave us something that is quite fascinating. Now, I'm at this tiny little temple here, one of the many in the Prei complex here in Cambodia, because this is going to help tell our story. You see, as trade ramps up between the two great nations, now bear in mind, of course, other countries were trading quite naturally. There was China and all those in the region. But as our focus two countries start to really get the steam up, something else begins to happen. Now let's pretend I'm a king for a moment, and I'll put on my kingly crown. And let's pretend I'm in my palace, and I look down at my dining table and I see new exciting spices and herbs. And what's that? I even spot a new type of vegetable. I look over at my beautiful queen and I notice she's wearing a different type of cloth and in a different style. Are these fashions from another land? And there are my children, and they're using words I've never heard of before. Are these also words from a foreign land? But it's when I look out of the window of my palace I see the real effect, because looking upon the ports I can see that it is bustling, there is plenty of trade going on, and the people are happy because the two countries are getting closer together. And nothing explains this better than a local legend here in Cambodia. And what that tale tells is how an ancient Indian Brahmin came all the way from India to Cambodia, and he spied a beautiful princess and he married her. And it was through that union that the first Cambodian dynasty was born. And the reason that all of this happened was because both countries extended the olive branch of peace rather than the sword of war and possession. And they got on so very well, they even had a common language, and that was Sanskrit. And now I'm going to dash behind the lens and show you. And just have a look at this. This is heart-stoppingly beautiful. This ancient little temple here in the jungle in a lost city. And look, it has been embraced by the tree roots of this mighty old tree. The two have been here for hundreds of years, and now they're like a married couple. They're so wired together, and without one or the other, they would both fall. This is Prasat Prei, and it is not one of the biggest temples here, but certainly one of the most beautiful. And he is the one that holds our key. Do you remember I mentioned about the Sanskrit? Well, we need to get closer to his heart, because it is in here that we see that very language. And look, it still survives and it's still crystal clear. Now, why this is so very, very important to our story is because these two nations that are now getting along oh so well and trading at a greater volume, they need to understand one another. They need to communicate fluidly and precisely. And what they both do is agree on this shared language. And it was that precise communication that counted for a lot more than you may think. Because consider this, you cannot have international trade over such a distance if there isn't clear, precise agreement. I'm going to send you hummingbird feathers, and in return you're going to send me 3 kilos of spices. Now, because the transaction takes so long, the distances are so far, we need to be precise. And this is where the shared language is so very important, that of Sanskrit.
And these deals would have been going on not just between India and Cambodia, they would have spread out like a spider's web across the whole of Asia. And if you imagine for one moment that you could see those sea routes and those land routes, and you were to take a bird's eye view and look down, would it not look like an information superhighway? Rather like our internet, where ideas are exchanged, skills are exchanged, but also religion. And these were the pathways that the gods also travelled down. And now we have something very special for you, and it's a guest. Without this lady, these videos would not be made, so I am exceedingly grateful to her. And they don't get much more special, I don't think, for it is the ambassador of India to here in Cambodia.